Hello, I welcome you to today's lesson. My name is Paul Williams Ofori Jr. Today we have science for basics. Today's lesson is very important. Those of you who want to become nurses, those of you who want to become doctors, those who want to work in the health sector, today's lesson is so important, so pay attention. Pay attention. I know why I'm saying pay attention. Okay, so what is the topic for today? The topic is how to use thermometer to measure temperature. How to use thermometer to measure temperature. So in our previous lessons, I remember very well that in class 4, class 5, I taught you about temperature. I taught you about thermometer. So what is temperature? Temperature is how hot or how cold a substance is. Okay, so for you to know how hot a substance is or how cold a substance is, you have to measure. And what instrument do we use to measure how hot or how cold a substance is? That instrument is called thermometer. So thermometer is a device, it's an instrument, it's a machine that is used to measure temperature. So today, we are going to look at how to measure it, how to use thermometer. In fact, you will enjoy the lesson, pay attention. Okay, now let's look at the keywords. The first word is temperature. Temperature. So temperature, we are talking about how hot or how cold a substance is. The next one is thermometer. Thermometer. Thermometer too is a device. It is an instrument. It's a machine that is used to measure temperature. We have this kink. So kink too is one of the parts of a thermometer. One of the parts of a thermometer. Okay. This is graduation. This graduation too, there are small lines on thermometer that help us to read the temperature. So if you want to measure somebody's temperature, the graduation will let you know the temperature of the person. Okay. The next one is mercury. Mercury. So yes, I remember very well that when we were learning about metals, I said that mercury is the only metal in a liquid form. The only metal in a liquid form is mercury. So in thermometer, we have liquid in thermometer. That liquid is mercury. So we will look at it. Let's continue on. We have been using the word temperature and heat in our conversations, but they are not the same. Heat is a form of energy that flows from one point of an object to another point. Heat flows from a hot part to a cold part of an object. Temperature, on the other hand, is a measure of the degree of hotness or coldness of an object or a body. When more heat is applied to an object, the temperature of the object increases. When the heat is reduced, the temperature also decreases. Heat only travels when there is a difference in temperature between 2 points. So you should understand these two words: heat, temperature. You should know that heat is a form of energy. The forms of energy, heat is one of them. And it travels. Heat travels. It travels from one point to another point. But anytime it travels when there is a difference between 2 points in terms of temperature. Or it always travels from hot parts to cold parts. So if this object, if I apply heat to this side, the heat will pass through, come to this end. If this side is not hot, it is cold, and here is hot, and I still apply heat to it, the heat will pass through to the cold part. So heat is a form of energy that travels from one point to another, from a hotter point to a cold point, or from hot point to a cold point. So that is what we mean by heat. Now, temperature is about how hot or how cold a substance is. How hot or how cold a substance is. So for you to know that this is hot, this is cold, we are talking about temperature. Temperature measures how hot or how cold a substance is. So for you to know that, oh, this side, the degree of hotness is this, the degree of coldness is this, that is what we mean by temperature. Temperature just measures how hot or how cold a substance is. But heat is a transfer of what? Transfer of, it's a form of energy that travels from one point to what? Another point. So the more you apply heat to an object, the more the temperature of the object, or the higher the temperature of the object goes. So you should understand that the two goes hand in hand. More heat, more temperature. More heat, more temperature. Okay, now let's continue. Temperature. So we have said that temperature is the measure of how hot or how cold a substance is, and we use thermometer to measure temperature. We use thermometer to measure temperature. So thermometer is a device used to measure what? Temperature. Okay, now let's look at this. This is what? Thermometer. This is thermometer. Look at the shape here. So you use this side. So this side will help you know how hot or how cold the substance is, and it will be displayed here for you to read. So this is digital thermometer. You put this side under your armpits like this. So the thermometer will be able to tell how hot or how cold your body is, and the level of hotness or coldness will be shown here. And if you go to the hospital and you see this to be your temperature, it means you are within range, because a healthy person, your temperature should be 37 or 37.5 degrees Celsius. 37 or 37.5 degrees Celsius. So if your temperature is like this, it means you are okay. Now, there are two scales that we use to measure temperature. There are two scales that we use to measure temperature. Let's look at the two scales. The first one is Celsius scale, and the second one is Fahrenheit scale. You can use Celsius scale to measure temperature. You can also use Fahrenheit scale to measure temperature. So if you measure temperature, whatever that you get, you have to attach if you measure temperature, whatever value that you get, whatever number that you get, you have to attach the scale that you use. So we have two scales. We have degrees Celsius and then we have degree Fahrenheit. So degrees Celsius, this is how you write it. Then degrees Fahrenheit, this is how you write it. So C for Celsius, F for Fahrenheit. So let's say you go to the hospital, the nurses put the thermometer under your armpits. After some time, they removed and they wrote 37.1. If they write this for you, tell the nurse that this is wrong. This is not temperature. Yes, this is not temperature. Even if they write it or read it correctly and they write it like this for you, it is wrong. If they write 37.1 centimeters, it is wrong. For you to know that this is temperature, you have to write this or this to tell the scale that you use to measure it. And the unit for measuring temperature is degrees Celsius or degrees Fahrenheit. So if a nurse writes something for you without degrees Celsius or degrees Fahrenheit, tell the nurse that you should complete it. Maybe he or she forgot to add it to it. So anytime you measure temperature of a person, a substance, remember to attach or add this one, degrees Celsius or degree Fahrenheit. Don't bring the two, just one, depending on the scale that you use. So if you are using the Celsius scale, after writing your 37.1, then you bring degrees Celsius. If you use Fahrenheit scale, you write 37.1 degrees Fahrenheit. So depending on the scale that you use, you write it. After the number, you write it. And this tells you that this is temperature, this is also temperature. This is not temperature, though it is 37.1, but because of this is not temperature. Because of this is temperature. Because of this is temperature. It is very important. So my future nurse, my future doctor, my future pharmacist, my future laboratory technician, remember that anytime you measure temperature, you attach this to it. We don't write 37.1 degrees Fahrenheit, degrees Celsius. No, this is wrong. This is wrong. Why is it wrong? Because we can't use two scales to measure at the same time. So you just pick one. If it is degrees Celsius, you maintain degrees Celsius. If it is degree Fahrenheit, you write degree Fahrenheit. So this is correct. This is correct. This is correct. This is wrong. This is also wrong when it comes to temperature. So you should understand it. Okay. Let's go back. Have you visited the hospital before? Did the nurse or the doctor check your temperature? Share with us how it was done. So we went to the hospital and I believe your temperature was checked. How was it done? If you go there, they will take your vitals, your vital information. One of them is your temperature. So they'll put the thermometer. I've told that thermometer is used to measure temperature. They'll put it under your armpit, sometimes under your tongue, and then after some few minutes, they'll remove it and read the temperature of your body. Okay, so the temperature of your body tells the state that you are. It talks about your health. So if your situation is too severe, your temperature is so high, it will tell them how fast they have to attend to you. But if yours is normal, like the normal one, 37.0, 37.1, 37.2, they know you are okay. Then they will carry out another activities or another experiment or another test to know your real situation. Okay, so now we have seen that we have thermometer, which is used to measure temperature. Temperature is measured in degrees Celsius or degree Fahrenheit. Now let's look at types of thermometers. The thermometers that we use to check temperature, we have types. The types are two. Let's look at them. We have clinical and laboratory thermometers. A thermometer can be digital or analog. So the two types of thermometers that we have, one is clinical, two laboratory. The difference is this: we use the clinical thermometer to measure temperature of only human beings. The clinical thermometer, it is used to measure the temperature of only human beings. Apart from human beings, all other objects that you want to measure the temperature, we use laboratory thermometer. So that is what you should know. The two are clinical and laboratory. Clinical is for human being, or clinical thermometer is used to measure temperature of a human being. Laboratory thermometer is used to measure temperature of substances. So any substance at all that you can think of, we use laboratory thermometer to measure it. Now, because of technology, we have digital machines of late, and the thermometers that we have digital thermometer and we have analog thermometer. Now let's look at the difference. What's the difference between digital and analog? Now, differences between digital and analog thermometers. Digital thermometer, the temperature is displayed on the screen. So with digital thermometer, this is digital, and temperature is displayed on the screen. So you see the temperature, you see it here. But analog, temperature is read from numbers on the scale or markings. So here are the scale or the markings. Let me show it to you. You see the numbers on top here. So you will take your time to read it. But this one, it will be displayed for you. Okay. It has no bulb and mercury. This is digital. It has no bulb, it has no mercury. But analog, it has a bulb and mercury. This is analog. Have you seen it? It has a bulb. The bulb is here, and then the mercury, what is inside it. The next one, it uses an electronic sensor to measure temperature. So this one, this side here, is electronic sensor that is used to measure temperature. But here, it has no electronic sensor and uses either mercury or alcohol to measure temperature. So this one, have you seen something here? Have you seen the color, that yellowish color inside? Yes, that is mercury. It's liquid. It rises to tell or to indicate the temperature. That shows how hot or how cold a substance is. Okay, so here with the analog, it doesn't have electronic sensor. What it has is mercury. And if you don't have mercury, alcohol is the next alternative. So alcohol can also be used in thermometers to measure temperature. But because alcohol is colorless, you add some color for you to know the level of hotness or the level of coldness of the objects. Okay. Now let's come to the next one. Measurement is more accurate and easier to read. So if you are to read this, it is easy and you get your accurate measurement. But here you have to count it. Start reading 37, 30, 35, 36, 37, like that now. So if you are not good, you will not get accurate results here. But with this one, it gives to you automatically. After it has finished, it will give it to you. Okay. So we have seen that this one gives accurate reading, this one to give less accurate reading. Now let's come to this side. It has no kink. This also has a kink. So digital thermometer has no kink, but analog thermometer has a kink. So the kink is here. The kink is here. We will look at all the parts, don't worry. Now let's look at clinical thermometer. So now we are going to look at clinical thermometer alone. Clinical thermometer alone. It is a type of thermometer used by health professionals like doctors and nurses to measure temperature of patients. It is commonly used in hospitals or health facilities. The temperature of a healthy human body under normal conditions is 37 degrees Celsius or 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. A clinical thermometer can be digital or analog. So I explained to you that we have two types of thermometers, the clinical thermometer and then analog thermometer. We are looking at the clinical thermometer, and what we are saying is that clinical thermometer is used to measure temperature of human beings. So if you go to the hospital, the patients that we have there, doctors and nurses check their temperature and they use thermometer. So the thermometers that they use, we have analog, we have digital. So it depends the one that you have. And listen to me, the temperature of a healthy person is 37 degrees. Some people also say 37.5 degrees Celsius. So if your temperature is 37 degrees Celsius, it means you are fit. You don't have any issue with temperature. Okay. If it is not degrees Celsius and you are using degrees Fahrenheit scale, here it is 98.6. 98.6. A healthy person with Fahrenheit scale, it is 98.6. Now let's look at features of digital clinical thermometer. 1. It has no graduation but display figures on the screen. 2. It can measure a body's temperature without having direct physical contact with it. 3. It gives a beeping sound after measuring the temperature of a body. 4. It has no bulb, mercury, kink, and stem. 5. It is not shaken after use. So this is how the digital clinical thermometer looks like. It has no bulb, it has no kink, it has no mercury. You see, it displays the result for you to see. It also gives what? Beeping sound after it has finished reading the temperature. So this is how clinical thermometer, the digital one, looks like. Okay. Now let's come to this side. We are looking at the analog type. So features of analog clinical thermometer. So the thermometer that we use in the hospitals, I said we have two types, digital and analog. We have seen the digital. We are going to look at the analog. Okay. So it has a thermometric substance such as mercury or alcohol. So inside this tube, we have a liquid. That liquid is called thermometric substance or thermometric liquid. This liquid can be alcohol, it can be mercury. Okay. 2. It has a bulb that contains the mercury or the alcohol. So the bulb is here. The bulb is here. The bulb contains the mercury, it contains the alcohol. 3. It has a kink or constriction. This prevents the mercury or alcohol from falling back into the bulb so that accurate reading can be recorded. So the kink is here. The kink is here. So the kink prevents the mercury or the alcohol from falling back. That is why some places, some hospitals, you go there after they have checked your temperature, the nurse will shake the thermometer like this. They shake it because they want the mercury to fall back. They want the alcohol in it to fall back. It doesn't come easily because of the kink. So when it goes up, it has to come back. But before it comes back, it needs to come freely. But the kink here will prevent it from falling back easily and freely like that. So if you shake it, it means you are forcing it to what? To fall back. So that you can use it on another person. Number 4, it has a thick glass tube called a stem. So you see how pen looks like. The pen, where the ink is in the tube. That tube too is in a bigger tube. So here, in the case of thermometer, the bigger tube is what we call the stem. The bigger tube is what we call what? The stem. Okay. Number 5, it has markings called graduation on the stem. The marking ranges from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. So with analog, these are the markings. What we call the graduation. Have you seen it? We call the markings what? Graduations. Okay, so the range is from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. So that is analog for you. Now let's look at the parts of the analog clinical thermometer and their functions. We mentioned the bulb. So it stores or contains the thermometric liquid, that is mercury or alcohol. This thing is very important, you have to pay attention. Even SS, they ask questions about this. SSC, they ask questions. WASI, they ask questions about this. And then BEC too, they ask questions. You can be asked to draw analog thermometer and label the parts, or they will label the part for you and they ask you questions about it. So the bulb, what it does is it stores or it contains thermometric liquid. We are talking about alcohol or mercury. Okay. The next one is capillary tube. It carries the mercury upwards as it expands. So the tubes are two. The small one, where the mercury or the alcohol is, that small one is called the capillary tube. It contains the mercury. Okay. The next one is kink. Another name for kink is constriction. So it prevents the mercury or the alcohol from falling back. Okay. Then we have stem. It holds the capillary tube and has the temperature scale on it. So this big one here is the stem. And what we have inside is a capillary tube. Let me indicate it for you to see. So here, what we have inside here, you see this tube. This is a capillary tube. This is the capillary tube. And then we have stem. The stem is the big one here. So you see the capillary tube is inside the stem. So this is what we call the stem. This is the bulb. And then there is something here called the kink. We call this kink. Another word for kink is constriction. And then we have mercury. Mercury is the liquid inside the capillary tube. That is a thermometric liquid. And that could be alcohol or mercury. So these are the parts. And then we have graduation. Graduation, we are talking about the scale. So you see the numbers that we have here. These numbers are the graduations. The scale that is found on the stem. Have you seen it? So the bulb contains the mercury. The kink or the constriction prevent the mercury here from falling back. We have the stem. The stem is a bigger tube that contains the capillary tube. It also has the markings on it. At the same time, the stem protects the capillary tube. Now the capillary tube is the thin tube that we have here. This tube contains the mercury, or it contains what? It contains alcohol. Have you seen it? So these are the parts of analog clinical analog thermometer. These are the parts and their functions. So if you are asked to draw, this is something that I expect you. The range of the laboratory thermometer varies. So here we have -20 degrees Celsius to 120 degrees Celsius. Some has -10 to 110 degrees Celsius. It varies. So let's look at them. So this is the analog type. This is the analog. This is the analog. And then this is digital. This is digital. Okay. Now the difference between analog laboratory thermometer and digital clinical thermometer. So these ones we are talking about analog. This is analog. This is also analog. But here this is clinical. This is what? Laboratory, and they are all thermometer. So we are looking at thermometer for human beings and thermometer for other things. But here we are looking at analog. Now let's look at the difference. It is used in health facilities like hospitals. So the clinical thermometer is used in hospitals, health facilities, because that is where you get patients, we measure their temperature. Okay, the laboratory, it is used in laboratories. Okay, the next one, it is used to measure the temperature of the human body. Laboratory, it is used to measure the temperature of any substance. Okay, so let's come to clinical. It has a kink or constriction, but with laboratory, it has no kink or constriction. You know what a kink is, you know what constriction, they are the same thing. Okay, and their function is to prevent the mercury from falling back easily. Okay, now clinical, the scale ranges from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. Laboratory, the scale ranges from -20 degrees Celsius to 120 degrees Celsius. Okay, so let's look at key important things about temperature and thermometer. One, the temperature of boiling water or the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. So if they ask you what's the boiling point of water, it is 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, the temperature of freezing water or the freezing point of water is 0 degrees Celsius. It's 0 degrees Celsius. Okay. Number 3, temperature of a normal human body is 37 degrees Celsius. So if you are a normal person, you are not sick, your temperature should be or must be 37 degrees Celsius. Number 4, when checking the temperature of a person, sterilize the thermometer before and after use. So if you use thermometer on a patient, after using it, make sure you sterilize it to kill bacteria, germs and other things before you use it on another person. Okay. Number 5, do not hold the thermometer by the bulb. So where the mercury is or where the mercury is contained, that side don't hold it. Okay. A thermometric substance like alcohol must be colored because it is naturally colorless. This makes reading easy. So if your the thermometer, the mercury that you have in it is alcohol, make sure you add some color to it so that it will be easy for you to read. Alcohol by nature is colorless. So if you don't add color, it will be very difficult for you to know the temperature. Now let's look at this activity. The focus is to measure the temperature, the body temperature, using a digital clinical thermometer. So here we are going to use digital clinical thermometer to measure the temperature of the body. So materials needed: digital clinical thermometer, antiseptic, cotton wool. These are the things that we will need. How to go about it? Number 1, clean the thermometer with antiseptic liquid and cotton wool. So the antiseptic liquid is what you should know, and then the cotton wool is what you should also know, because before you measure temperature of a person, you have to clean it. You use antiseptic liquid. That one will kill germs, will kill bacteria and other infections. It kills germs, all microorganisms that can affect the next person the antiseptic liquid will kill it, and after that you use cotton wool to clean it. Okay, turn it on and wait for it to show 0.0 degrees Celsius. So if you are using the digital one, you turn it on. When you turn it on, you see 0.0 degrees Celsius. Okay, place it under your friend's armpit and wait for the beeping sound. So after you have turned it on, just place it under your friend's armpit and then wait. It will get to a point that it will make what? A sound. That beeping sound will tell you that it has finished what? Reading the temperature. When the beeping sound is heard, remove the thermometer and record the figure on the screen. So when you hear the beeping sound, remove it and record the measurements or the figure or the number that is displayed. Number 5. Use the same step to check another person's temperature. Compare the two. So after using it on one person, go to another person. Make sure you use the antiseptic liquid to clean it before you use it on the next person. After you have finished measuring, compare the temperature of the two people and tell the difference. Conclusion: the temperature of a normal or healthy person is 37 degrees Celsius. If the temperature is above or below 37 degrees Celsius, it means the person is ill. So if your temperature is above, it's more than that, or lower than 37 degrees Celsius, it means there is an issue, health issue. Now let's look at precaution. Precaution for using digital clinical thermometer. 1. Use only for measuring the human body. So digital clinical thermometer is used only for human beings. The next number is number 2. Avoid dropping or bending it. Don't try to bend it or drop it. Number 3. Check the battery to ensure accuracy. So if the battery is weak, it will affect the reading. So always make sure the battery is strong and it can work. The next one, store it safely in a protective case. So after you have finished using it, get a place to keep it, to store it. Okay, there is another activity here. Now let's come to project. So make an improvised thermometer using plastic bottles, plastic straw, dice, and water. So you have to make improvised thermometer. This is your project. We are bringing our lesson to a close. So what have we learned today? We have learned that temperature is the measure of how hot or cold a substance is. A thermometer is the instrument used to measure temperature. The unit for measuring temperature is either degrees Celsius or degrees Fahrenheit. We have learned about clinical and laboratory thermometers, and we have said that both laboratory or clinical can be digital and analog. It can be digital, it can also be analog. That is what we have learned today. We have seen the difference between the digital and then analog, and then we have also seen the difference between digital clinical thermometer and analog clinical thermometer. We have seen the parts of analog thermometer and their functions. We have seen how to measure temperature of a person. So these are the things that we have learned today, and I believe you have enjoyed the lesson. Let's look at the exercises that we have. We have exercise 1, exercise 2, 3, exercise 4, and then we have home assignments. So this is what you are to do as your exercises and your home assignments. Take your time and read the book. After reading, you can watch the video again. If you have questions, your teachers, your parents are there, go to them, they will help you. You can also reach out, I can also help you. This science book, we have from basic 1 to basic 6. So if you need copies, call. We'll make sure you get copies. It comes with video lesson. So you don't just buy the book. You have opportunity to watch the lesson, every lesson. Yes. So all the lessons that we have videos for them. we have videos for them. So you get the opportunity to watch the video and read the textbook. It will help you to understand it well. Apart from science, we have Asante tree, we have a Piapin tree. Make sure you get copies for your school, for yourself, for those that you know. Our videos are on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. Make sure you go there and you watch us. Share the link, follow us, subscribe, comment. In fact, help us grow the channel. Thanks so much for your time. My name is Poriam Zofori. Bye-bye.